two scenarios. You wake up in the morning and you make up your bed and then you start your normal day. By the time you come back home, your day has not gone as per the plan. But you come back home to a tidy room and a tidy bed. Scenario number two, you wake up in the morning and you don't make up your bed. You start your normal day. The day has not gone as per the plan, but you come back home to an untidy room and an untidy bed. How would you feel in both of the situations? It's the same feeling when we accomplish something as per the plan and how we feel about it. And that feeling of accomplishment when we're able to make up our bed because you already had thought about it perhaps the night before, it's the same feeling when we are able to accomplish our to-do list as well. But are we always able to do that? Well, not really. It's not always the case. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about how we can achieve our task in a to-do list based on the evidence. Stay tuned. Hi everybody, this is Dr. Samreen. I'm a full-time academic in the UK and today's video is about getting our to-do list done. Now, creating a to-do list is not that difficult of a task. Most of us have a to-do list on paper, an app, a calendar, so on and so forth. However, as the research suggests, 87% of us are not really able to get through our to-do list. Have you ever wondered why is the case? Because most of the times we are really overestimating our time. We forget often that there are only 24 hours in a day and that we only have limited energy, just like any other resource. So let's talk about how we can really make the most of our to-do list, shall we? Tip number one. In the book Make Time, authors John Zeratsky has talked about the rule 1, 2, 3 when it comes to accomplishing your to-do list. Now, what does that mean? Many people also have translated that to different numbers based on, of course, the daily tasks and routines. It means in your to-do list, you always segregate your tasks based on how much time would it take. So in that 1, 2, 3 list, what do? You create that one task which is the most important task for you and perhaps also could be considered your highlight of the day. So when you look back at your to-do list, you have the feeling of accomplishment that you had that highlight and you were able to do the most important and significant work on the day. Then you look at your to-do list and identify those tasks which are not too important and not less important, but they are somewhere in the middle and they won't really take as much of time of yours. And you pick 2 tasks out of them. And finally, you identify those 3 tasks that would take you lesser time than 1 and 2, but still you can manage to do them in your day. Some authors have also called this the rule 1, 3, 5. So the principle is the same, that 1 is that most important significant task of yours. Then you have those 3 tasks which won't take as much of time as the most important significant task, and 5 tasks which are very small in nature but may have a significant impact on your day. For example, reading a book, calling a friend, watering your plants, and so on and so forth. Pro tip, I have included a template for this rule 1, 3, 5 in my description below as well. If you wish, you can download it and use it for your benefit and let me know how did you find it. Tip number 2, eat that frog. Bigger the frog, the better it is for you. Now that's not something I am saying, but this is the title of a book by Brian Tracy who speaks about productivity and managing time. And in fact, I also have made a video on that which you can watch on my channel and I'll put a description somewhere here on the screen. So coming back to tip number 2, what does that mean to eat the frog? It means that the task which you have identified, which was the most important and significant in your to-do list, prioritize that. And if that task is difficult, try to do first thing in the morning. Because if you're able to achieve that most important and perhaps sometimes complex or difficult task first thing in the morning, you'll be able to get through your day a lot more efficiently. And preferably, try to do it before lunchtime when our minds are fresh and we're also feeling active. And if you're able to do that, the rest of the things will just fall into place. Tip number 3. Now this is going to be a bit controversial, I know, but think about multitasking twice. I know you might be thinking, well, I can be a good multitasker and I have no doubts about that. You could be. However, research suggests that normally humans are not very good at multitasking. And so you might be thinking that I can be good at multitasking, but only in those tasks which do not require a lot of mental energy. For example, if you're doing some work of yours and if you're working from home, you may want to put on laundry. That's multitasking, but that's doable because one task requires your mental energy, whereas the other does not require you doing much about it. But equally, if you're trying to multitask between an important task and talking with your friends on phone, that might not really work. So always think twice about multitasking, because I know we feel really greedy when it comes to ticking that to-do list. But remember that if you're not really able to do both the things in the hope that you're multitasking, you're just wasting your time. Tip number 4, try and incorporate Eisenhower Matrix in order to manage your time, because of course, that's the biggest stress in our lives these days, how we can get more done in lesser time. For your ease, I've also included a template in my description which you can download to use. This matrix works on 2 principles, and it asks you to divide your tasks based on their urgency and how important are them. For example, if the task is important and urgent, do it first. If your task is important but not too urgent, you can schedule it for later, perhaps tomorrow or the week later. If your task is not important but not too urgent, you can consider delegating the task to somebody else who can do it for you. And if that task is not important, neither urgent, you know what? You can delete it. And so if you're looking at your to-do list in line with this matrix, you can easily identify the most important task, the least important task, and the ones which you don't need at all. And finally, tip number 5 is create a done list. I know, right? Because when you have a done list, it's an amazing feeling when we're able to tick that box in our to-do list, and that feeling of fulfillment, that reward which we should give to ourselves, because a lot of researchers suggest that how human brain works based on reward. And that reward could be external or internal, of course, depending on who you are and what you really like to do. But do consider giving yourself that reward of ticking that one box in your to-do list. I hope these 5 tips would help you to accomplish your to-do list. Don't forget to share your comments and feedback in the comments below section, and feel free to download the templates as well, which I've shared in my description in this video. Take care until next video. Bye.